Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed.
Tuesday night clash, we gather here. Four fierce leagues, no room for fear. SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot. JPR rolling like a storm. LSA precise like a norm. 5 drivers, each heart's ablaze. Victory dreams in relentless haze. Head to head on Tuesday night. Racing fast under the light. Fury built, engines scream loud. Fully fight, make us proud. Tires screeching through the turns. Passion ignites and the rubber burns. SAFRL won't yield ground. SKR driver spinning round. JPR gripping whistle tight. LSA moves with surgical might. 5 souls from each battling hard. Chasing glory in this racing yard. Engines roar, pulses race. Adrenaline rushes in this place. 4 leagues clashing in the dark. Chasing dreams, leaving marks.
NFR, it's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seat. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. Tuesday night, feel the light. 4 leagues, get ready, it's a sight. SAFRL, speed so bright. SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing. Through the night, all passion. One by one, on the track. No turning back, no slack. High speed, adrenaline rush. Turbocharged, feel the crush. League pride, holding tight. Win or lose, in the night. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red.
Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires is lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene, the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. You move to NFR.
Tuesday night clash, we gather here. 4 fierce leagues, no room for fear. SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot. JPR rolling like a storm. LSA precise like a norm. 5 drivers, each heart's ablaze. Victory dreams in relentless haze. Head to head on Tuesday night, racing fast under the light. Fury built, engines scream loud. For each fight, make us proud. passion ignites and the rubber burns. SAFRL won't yield ground. SKR driver spinning round. JPR gripping whistle tight. LSA moves with surgical might. 5 souls from each battling hard, chasing glory in this racing yard. Engines roar, pulses race. Adrenaline rushes in this place. 4 leagues crashing in the dark, chasing dreams, leaving marks.
It's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beats. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, sick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. Tuesday night, feel the light. 4 leagues, get ready, it's a sight. SAFRL, speed so bright. SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing through the night.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to Tuesday nights with the League versus League Championship. Of course, tonight, Season 1, Round 5. It's the second of the League hosted rounds. Of course, LSA got to choose the track last week. This time around, it's the turn of JPR. JPR have chosen a circuit which we will race at tonight. The other 3 leagues don't know what the circuit is and therefore haven't been able to prepare for it. So of course, JPR told me a little while ago what the circuit was. I can tell you all now that the circuit is Interlagos, Brazil. And we will be underway in about 5 minutes from now. So get ready, get your minds ready for Brazil, one of the shorter layouts on the calendar. Real technical circuit. And with the field this quick, we should see very close lap times around a very short circuit. I'll be back with you in about 4 minutes from now. Until then, enjoy the music a little.
8 o'clock, engines roar, the streets rock, full excited, head to head, burning rubber, painted red.
Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. And now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top support is seen. In the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. You move to NFR.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I spoke to you about 5 minutes ago when we announced what circuit we'd be at. We're now back at the circuit, of course, Sao Paulo in Brazil, circuit Interlagos. One of the shorter of the layouts on the F1 calendar. And we know that this field is very, very quick. So I expect close lap times throughout the field. I've seen it many times before. The shorter racetracks tend to have closer lap times in qualifying, and with the quality of this field, I expect nothing less. With one or two cars now starting to come out onto the circuit. Looks like some JPR cars there. I think there was two of them. Of course, if you need a reminder of the championship, LSA comfortably in the lead of the championship, 193 points. The only other team in triple digits is SAFRL on 112, and then SKR and JPR having a battle of their own for P3 at the moment, 49 and 48 points. So those two very close together. And then of course tonight is round 5 of the JPR circuit. Next week another league hosted circuit. Next time round SKR is going to be doing the picking. Then we go back to a set calendar. A little later on, I think round 9 or 10, SAFRL will get their chance to pick a circuit. Of course, the team that picks the circuit should have an advantage. They have knowledge of where they are going to be on Tuesday night. Everybody else can't practice for a specific circuit. They just don't know where they're going to be. This is LSA, or of Fricky. Can be quite tricky when you see them coming in there over the, if you want to call it a main straight, almost looks like they're going to peel off into the pits, but that's just the racing line. Of course, this circuit has been on the calendar since mid-70s, 77, I think, 1977 was the first time this Grand Prix was held. Of course, most of the Brazilian Grand Prix have been here. Left Sao Paulo, Interlagos for about 5 years. went to a circuit I'm not sure, can't remember the name of that, but I know it's been renamed to the Autodromo Nelson PK. It's a circuit with an incredible 5 different layouts. Of course, Brazil has many fantastic racing circuits. Another one in Rio de Janeiro. Almost cost this track its spot on the calendar not so long ago. Nick Gishin, that's the car we're riding with at the moment, JPR car, currently in P3, so 108.2, would be ahead of him for LSA 108.0, and then Shane, so far on 107.9, the only driver in the 107s. Still waiting for lap times from everybody else, so just the 5 drivers have timed lap times. To everybody who's joined in the comment section, everybody who's watching. Of course, early days. We're in qualifying, 13.5 minutes remaining in the session, just a short quali session. Then we go straight into a 50% distance race. If you've just joined us, remember it's a league-hosted circuit for this round. So one of the leagues has chosen the circuit, the other 3 only got knowledge of the circuit 5 minutes prior to the event starting. This is LSA Conboy looking for his first lap, and it's a good one. It's a 107.7, goes to the top of the field, and LSA continuing their dominance at the top of the field. If we saw the championship, it's 194 points. 193 to 112, and that's a big spin. That's a big spin. We got it just in time on camera. Skylar has a spin. Don't think he's going to be too worried about that. I think that was an in-lap. Skull has set his first time on 109.2, then Virus 109.3, Top Gun, Smurf, Venom. Those are the drivers with lap times. We're still waiting for Acid Milk. I think he's about to go over the line, but that's to start a quick lap. Triple still in the pits. This is Mr. Rem. He's also just started a quick lap. There is Spikes. Pulled out quite the performance on Sunday night. We'll be looking to repeat the feat. Of course, tonight, not driving for SKR, he's driving for SAFRL, I believe. Some of these liveries don't exactly match up. So we're going to say he was looking for that first time of the evening. He's now got it to 108.2 for a good lap time to put in. Takes him straight up into P5. This is now the man who's taken P2 away from Shane. Lamb Royale. That is not the name I've commentated on before. Welcome to NFR. Lamb Royale. I think I'll just call him Royale. Should I call him Lamb? Should I call him both? This is Andres, still looking for the first time of the evening. Of course, a full lobby besides one. Means one of the teams is missing a driver. Of course, everybody's supposed to have 5 drivers. Can't always be done. Sometimes a team is going to miss a driver. Always a disadvantage. Got to make sure you get the other 4, as many of them as you can, into the pits. Or into the points rather, not into the pits. Yeah, Andre is saying, where does LSA get all the aliens? Aliens referring to incredibly quick drivers. Of course, we've seen a few of them throughout this season so far. Lambo, Royal Royal Lamb, I don't know, that name's still confusing me. He's the first time I've commentated on that name, and look at that, straight into the 107s. So it's a very quick driver, not much quicker than Shane, just 1/100th of a second. But if JPR wants to put a car on the front row, they're going to need something better than a 107.7. That's a big spin. That's Shane just losing it, going up straight. Commentator's curse once again. We go straight to the next JPR car. That's Nick Geshen in P6. Might get a slight toe from his teammate. Doesn't. His teammate jumps out of the way. Let's see what Nick Geshen can do. Is there an improvement? There is. Takes him up to P5. So 108.1. Closer to his teammate Shane now, just 0.2 of a second between the two JPR cars, but Shane has returned to the pits. It's an unsuccessful run for him. This is Conboy, quickest man on circuit so far. 107.7, the time to beat. He's out on circuit, and I think he wants to defend that lap time, move the goalpost a little, to motivate the rest of the field. Slightly slower in sector 2, so I don't know if he's going to have it this lap. We might just see him peel off into the pits. There's time remaining. Doesn't peel off into the pits. Maybe go quicker. Went quicker in sector 3. Wasn't good enough to improve on the lap time, but still time remaining. He'll be able to get in, have another lap. Or will he? Nobody mentioned this in the comment section. Shame on you. Will rain come into effect? Some clouds. Are those spots of rain? Or is that just, well, bad time to glitch? Don't give me game glitches. In Brazil, I'm always going to think it's rain. So nobody's mentioned it. I think if there was rain in the race, it would be a hot topic. Somebody would have mentioned it by now. We had quite a few rain-affected races on the channel last week. Brazil is known to throw up a few interesting results. 17% chance of rain, so it should be dry. That's coming from Andre. Brazil motorsport crazy. They have been missing an F1 driver for a very long time. I think the last F1 driver was Felipe Nasr. There are definitely a few promising drivers in Formula 2 looking to change that. Fortunately, not all of them get seats. Still waiting for lap times from 2 drivers. One of them is Triple M, the other is Spikes. Conboy in the pits, Ricky in P2. They've now made it in LSA 1, 2 and 3. We were talking about the aliens earlier. Well, there's the proof. 1, 2, 3. Now Tresso. It's just rubbing it in. LSA 1, 2, 3 and 4. Where is Shane? Shane is in the pits. Where is Nick? Nick is in the pits. Where is Wheeze? Wheeze out there for SKR. Car you can't miss. Of course, striking resemblance to one of the manufacturers on the F1 grid. I'll let you guess which one. If you're unable to guess, I'm gonna have to wonder what you're watching. You're probably watching Indy. If you watch IndyCar, that car is not that bright. IndyCar has a lot more interesting liveries. Further down the field, now it's just Triple M remaining with no lap time. He is currently in sector 2. No lap time to compare to. This should be his first. Cars in the pits now with 5 minutes remaining. Everybody getting ready for the final run. Remember, it's a very short racetrack, so you don't want getting heated on that final run. When I lost it all, that was just the internet. Seems to be the internet going to go over the line and set the lap time good enough to beat 10 to 108.6. Out of the quick drivers out on track, I tell you, Ram Royale goes back up into P3. Now the LSA cars just trading places. Big T currently in P6 for SKR. Of course, SKR and JPR could both do with great results here this evening. Getting a little down in the championship. Of course, a long way to go in this championship. It's 12 or 14 rounds. Let's just confirm that. I think it's 12. There we go, 12 rounds. So a long way to go in this championship. Things can still swing. JPR and SKR need to start putting in those performances pretty soon. So as that gap continues to grow and the races run out, they could effectively be out of this championship earlier than they'd like. And look at that, I said the pits were busy. Now a whole lot of cars on outlaps. So important to make sure you've got your own space, your own little bubble on this racetrack for the final lap. Last thing he wants is to be impeded. One of the JPR cars, that's Venom, comes into the pits. Might still have time to get back out there if his pit crew get on with it. This is Fricky, currently in P4 with a 107.9. Royale actually just went ahead of his teammate. The LSA cars in 3 and 4 trading places. Let's see what Fricky can do. Does he have a couple of extra tenths? Is he gonna hop in front of his teammates? Fricky over the line. Doesn't hop in front of all of them, but he takes his position back from Lam Royale. Shane's still in the pits. Big T on an outlap. This is Nick Bishon. Right on board with the JPR driver. Follow him in sector 2. Difficult racetrack, lots of natural elevation changes. Some of the curves will really bite you. Others you fly right over. Of course, Interlagos meaning between two lakes in Portuguese. Up to the front of Wheeze. Didn't see his lap time, but an impressive lap time by the SKR driver, a 107.8. Puts himself up amongst the LSA drivers. Breaks that perfect top 4 that they were holding on to. I tell you, Shane is on an outlap. It's one of the JPR drivers. Keep your eyes on the red cars. Of course, those are the ones with the supposed advantage. They would have known where they were racing tonight. Everybody else would have been playing a guessing game. So it should be advantage JPR. Speaking of JPR, there's 2 of them. Nick Bishon, the man we currently ride with. He's in P9 on a 108.1. I said we were going to see close lap times. Those are very close lap times. The top 10 is covered by 0.6 of a second. Nick Bishon, yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. Convoy, quickest lap, then Tresso, he's in the pits, not going to be able to improve, then Wheeze, Fricky, Lamb Royale Big T. This is Shane. Obviously be his final run. No time left in this session. So important just one you get up the hill. We'll know if he's up or if he's not. If he's not yet, but staying out there. I think there's an improvement going. Currently in P7. Said there was an improvement coming, and look at that. Look at that. We've got 3 107.7s between the top 3. In fact, that's 4 of them. We've got 4 drivers on 107.7. Said we were going to have close racing, rather close lap times. I didn't expect them to be that close. 10 drivers covered by 6/10. Top 4 drivers. I even far that right out. Top 4 drivers covered by 800ths of a second. You're not going to get a qualifying session closer than that. Who is this comparing me to Will Buxton? I hope I am not as bad as Will Buxton. Of course, I do know the famous Will Buxton quote. The one who crosses the line first. And then of course the pause is very important. And then he comes back with, wins the race. That is an actual quote from an F1 commentator. The one who crosses the line first wins the race. So there is your order for the race. Shane, got to get through this really quickly. Shane P1, then Farnboy, Lan Royale, Triso, Grease, Ricky, Big T, Spikes, Nick Gishin, Acid Milk, that's the top 10. Then we've got Skylar, Triple M, Virus, Skull, Venom, Mr. M, Andres, Top Gun, Smurf, and that is the field. We're missing one driver. Of course, now we head straight off into a 50% distance race. It's going to be quite a few laps, I think, because it is a very short race circuit. It's also a race circuit quite well known for its penalties. So drivers are going to want to keep those cars in the white lines. We've seen lots of examples on this channel where drivers have one too many penalties. A late safety car comes out, brings that field together, and everyone with the penalty just falls to the rear of the field. So you've got to stay out of that penalties column. Andre confirming 36 laps, I believe. Should be right. I think 100% around here is 72 or 73 laps. Just for reference, if we do ever get a South African Grand Prix at Kyalami, a South African Grand Prix around Kyalami would be approximately 72 laps. All the cars are to the right hand side of our screen. Drivers will be doing final preparations. Not much you can change in the way of setup. I'm sure the JPR drivers will have their setups locked in and ready. They would have been working on this circuit over the past few days. Of course, what you can do is decide what tyre you're starting on. How deep into the race do you intend to go? Will you risk starting on the soft and anticipating an early safety car? Drivers taking their time with the strategies. Of course, when we do finally see the cars, we'll be underway for a formation lap. Drivers will get an opportunity to feel these cars with a full race tank. Of Cars obviously feel a little different, and it's nothing like qualifying, because you're going to have cars all around you at the start of the race, and everybody wants to get positions just as much as you do. So it's the lone red car ahead of a bunch of LSA cars. Shane from Convoy, then Lam Royale, Tresso, Weeze, Ricky, Big T, Spikes, Nick Gishin, Acid Milk, Skylar. Then we've got Triple M, Virus, Skull, Venom, Mr. M, Andres, Top Gun, and Smurf. Didn't end up getting that 20th driver. Sometimes someone's able to squeeze in before we get to the race. Not this time around. Shane's not wasting any time on this formation lap, getting a move on. But you've got to be careful. If the field behind you is trailing a little bit too far, you might find yourself in a situation where all the work you do on these tires basically gets nullified, because you're sitting in that grid box and everything just cools back down. So you want to do as much preparation as you can on those tires for turn 1 here in Brazil. It can be quite a complicated segment of circuit. Drivers often think it's a lot wider than it is. Cars going side by side, and often one or two of them land up on the grass. So tonight that's not the case, and everybody's able to hold station. I swear, these possible strategies from the game, that's just ridiculous. Still not as good as the one I got the other day. So now, as you know from this game in the past, we don't always get the best camera angle for the start of the race. For some reason we're looking at the rear of the field. But you will hear the lights when they light up. Of course, we'll get about 200 or 300 meters down the road, and then we'll finally get a decent camera angle heading into turn 1. There are your red lights, 5 of them, and when they go out, we'll be underway. Let's hope for that better camera angle. There it is, Shane into turn 1 as the leader, and will come out of turn 1 as the leader. Followed by a whole bunch of LSA cars. We've got Convoy in P2, then we've got Lam Royale in P3, top of the SKR drivers. P4, then Weeze P5, so a couple of SKR drivers there, 4 and 5, then another LSA driver, Tricky in P6, Spikes P7, Nick Gishin P8, Mr. M in P9, and then Skylar, he's made up a position, he's up into P10. Espresso lost a whole bunch of positions, I believe he has. He's down in P11. So Virus for SKR, Triple M, Andres, Acid Milk, we've got a caution, yellow flags in sector 2, hopefully that's all it will be. Very, very early days for a safety car, wouldn't benefit anybody at this stage. Convoy has got ahead of Shane. And now Shane finds himself in an LSA sandwich, probably an uncomfortable place to be, but soon DRS will become active. Convoy fastest lap of the race, on lap 2. Pushing Shane off the circuit, no space, nowhere to go, and now Shane falling back into the clutches of Lam Royale, all of a sudden from P1 down to P3. That's how quickly it happens. Now he's coming under pressure from a couple of SKR cars. We see a bunch of carbon fiber flying in the background. We don't know where that came from. Or if somebody just went over a brake marker. A whole lot of debris appearing there in the background. We're trying to keep our eyes on the cars to see if anyone there is missing an end plate. So SKR cars seem to be fine. That LSA car is fine, so is that one. There's the JPR car, so I'm not sure what all that debris was that we saw, but out front, we've seen many times before. The names might be different, the team is the same. Convoy from Lam Royale, then Big T, best of the rest. SKR in P3, then Weeze, then we've got Fricky P5, Shane, he's lost a few positions, started the race from pole position, down in P6. Then we've got Spikes P7, Nick Gishin, looking to make up positions. The Rem P9, Skylar in P10. Supporting the comment section for SKR. Where are the other league supporters? Haven't seen anybody say SAFRL or JPR or even LSA. Come on everybody else, let's go. I can see there's a few of you in here. You can't all be SKR supporters. Who are you supporting here tonight? Of course LSA, JPR, SAFRL and SKR. Those are the 4 leagues represented in the League v League Championship. This is season 1. With a prototype project of this, just 3 rounds, proved to be really popular. Did lose the 1 league, of course there were 5, now there's 4. There's 4 of the best, 4 of the quickest, 4 of the most competitive leagues we have available to us. And the result is fantastic racing. The best every league has to offer, thrown into one lobby. And this is what you get. You get side by side action, you get passing. This track is pretty narrow in places, that's where it's at its most. Other places you do have a bit of space, but unlike the more modern circuits, you could find yourself running out of tarmac. They're saying that Ray got wing damage, Big T also wing damage. Let's have a look at that SKR car if we can. There we go, definitely damage to the left hand side end plate. I don't think he's coming into the pits, or is he? No, stays out, holds on to track position. Coming to the pits right now, not yet. It's not part of the plan. Breaking the wing wasn't part of the plan, but doesn't want to come out at the rear of the field. Got the tyre screen up for the viewers and for myself. Of course, the medium compound seems to be the popular choice. Just the 1 driver starting in the soft compound, that's Triple M, and then 3 drivers on the hard. Skylar, Smurf, and Skull. All happen to start with an S. Got our first retirement of the race. I think we know what that's going to trigger. Hopefully it doesn't. Don't have confirmation of it yet, but Convoy out of the race. Our first DNF started with 19. Now got 18. Still a yellow flag. Still no confirmation of anything else. There we go, it's disappeared. So Convoy retires from the race and we don't get a stoppage in the race. The guys at the front will be quickly relieved with that. Lamoyal now at the front from Frippy, then Rees, doing everything he can to reel those LSA cars in, but he's got pressure behind him. Of course the JPR car has inserted himself in that battle. If the 2 SKR cars were running line astern, they could work a little bit more as a team to chase those cars ahead. But the JPR car, they're just sandwiched in between them. It's going to force Wees to keep one eye on the mirrors. He's not able to put all his focus into the cars ahead of him. That's just going to allow the LSA drivers, who already appear to be very quick, even more of an advantage as the rest of the opponents trip over themselves. It's LSA, SKR, JPR, SKR again. Then we have the first of the SAFRL cars. There's Spikes in P6, Geshen again, JPR, and Mr. M for SAFRL. Skylar, another LSA car, then Virus, SKR. Got 2 JPR cars running 11 and 12, that's Acid Milk and Top Gun, 11 and 12. And Andres, Venom, Smurf, Triple M, Tresso, his race hasn't gone as planned, and then Skull. on a relatively new set of hards, so he also came into the pits. Missed that. Skull obviously got early damage. He will be one of the drivers hoping for a safety car. I was going to say no penalties in the field so far. Well, they have been. I just didn't notice them. 2 penalties in the field, both of them 3 seconds. That is for Big T and Nick Gishin, respectively. There's a penalty this early on. It hurts. Think to yourself, all my warnings are gone, the penalty's already there, I don't want to go up to 6. Can make you just a little tentative on the corners. You would have once had a lot more confidence on. Gets in the back of your mind. Big T, now that's a big penalty, speeding in the pit lane for Big T. That's not going to help him. That's 10 seconds. I think he can serve it immediately. Let's have a look. Where is Big T? We're trying to have a look. No, they're already working on that car. So I think that 10 seconds will only be served at his next pit stop. If he chooses not to make another pit stop, it will be added on to his race time. I'm going to just try and send somebody an invite. So I will be back with you in just a minute. There we go, we're back. Sorry about that. I think I got that invite out. Hopefully the driver receives it and is able to come back into this race. Apologies to Mr. M if you've got a notification there in the middle of your race. I'm supposed to invite Triple M. I got a little confused. Triple M, Mr. M. Sam Royale still out front, then Fricky, then Wheeze in P3 for SKR. Spikes in P4. Then we've got Nick Gishin, the lead JPR car. Getting confused now between the leagues. We've got Skylar, Mr. M, Virus, Acid Milk, Top Gun, Venom, Andres, Smurf, Trey, Triple, Big T, and Skull at the rear of the field. Lots of work to do for the SKR driver. These LSA cars just using each other for DRS, lap after lap, just sling pasting each other, just towing each other around the circuit, working together. Exactly what they're doing. Wheeze in P3, got that gap down to 1.9 seconds. You want to catch up to those two. It's not going to be able to rely on tyres falling off. Everybody on the same set of tyres. They're in the top 6. You know, if there is Triple M, let's have a look. 20 down in P17, is that car still racing? Don't think it is, so hopefully Triple M back in the race. He's going to have his hands full now from P17 on a pretty old set of soft tyres. Going to have to come into the pit soon. Ricky out front from Royale. Then Wheeze in P3. Is that gap coming down or is it going up? It is coming down ever so slightly. 1.7 seconds now to the leader. We've got Spikes in P4. We're watching on Sunday night. You know he can surprise you. Got a great podium on Sunday night. And that's where he is now. He's back on the podium. We have an SAFRL car up into P3. Lots of mixed fortunes in this race. You'll see drivers out front dominating, and then all of a sudden they're in the midfield. Drivers who once looked like they were going to have a terrible race land up on the podium. Anything can happen. It really takes one mistake. Being quickest on the track is one thing. Finishing the race is quite another. Murph picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so now those penalties really starting to grow there on the side of the timesheets. Just bring them up real quickly. We've got 3-second penalties for Spikes, for Shane, for Nick Gishin, for Skylar, as well as for Andres and Smurf, and then the big one, Big T, 13 seconds. LSA cars just slingshotting past each other yet again on the straight, using each other for DRS, towing each other around. He's now starting to lose a little bit of time. We saw him close the gap by about 2/10 on the last lap. Now he's lost 2/10. Gone back up to 2.1 seconds. The last thing those LSA cars want is for Weeze to get within DRS. So they'll be managing that gap, and if it does get too close to 1 second, I think they're going to start pushing a little harder if they have anything left. Remember, there's no slouches in this league. Everybody in this league has had race wins. Everybody in this league has had podiums. They're used to getting points in their own league. Come here, they find themselves at the rear of the field. That's why a safety car or any stoppage in the race can change everything. It's a 17% chance of rain, I believe, so I don't think we'll see rain here in Brazil this evening. This rain around this circuit adds a whole new character to things. Visor, can never miss him in the comment section. When he arrives, he makes his presence known. Welcome to Visor, of course, supporting SKR. Royale in P1. We're cancelling out all my comments. I have nothing to look at. So Royale from Fricky, then Weeze. Now he's just doing it more. So Fricky in P2, Weeze P3, Spikes P4, Shane in P5. Of course, that's the driver that started from pole. Remember how close things were. The top 4 drivers in qualifying, they were separated by 0.08 of a second. All of those drivers finishing off on 108.7s, I believe it was, or 107.7s. Ricky in the lead now. Really doesn't matter too much which one of the teammates is ahead. Of course, remember, no individual championship. All we have here is a team championship. Every team is one league: JPR, SKR, SAFRL and LSA. Of course, they will be driving as a team. If one driver is quicker than the other, there will be no battling. Simply drive past. They'll be in communication with each other throughout the race. Drivers will know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. For LSA, everything has gone their way so far. They're at the front, P1 and 2. And best of the rest, Spikes, SAFRL. Royale, Thrifty, Weeze, Spikes, Skylar, remember him, he was all the way down in P11 at a stage, now up to P5. That's obviously as a result of him starting on the hard compound. Most of the drivers ahead of him in the field started on the medium, and those drivers have started coming into the pits one by one, elevating Skylar up the field, now up into P5. Let's have a look at the leaders. Of course, one thing that's pretty difficult to predict is where these guys park in the pit lane. It's not going to be like your regular weekend where 2 teammates pit on the same lap, they're going to double stack. These two cars could be into very different garages. We might see them pit. There we go, they're coming in together. It's not something you'd see on a normal race night. Welcome to the judge, welcome to the stream, good to have you here. Stream getting busier and busier. We're 16 laps into this race, still 20 to go. We've entered our first pit window, so the action's starting to happen out on track. Of course, most of the cars started on the medium compound. You can now see most of the field is on the hard. We only have 4 medium runners left. Of course, those are the last of the medium runners to start on that compound. Everybody else has since gotten rid of those tires. This might be a result of trying to avoid double stacking. Maybe some of these cars have been forced to stay out. Welcome to Disguised, the driver I've commentated on a few times before, also supporting SKR. I said hello to Dixie Killer, but welcome as well to you. Great to have so many of you in the comment section. Of course, let me know who are you supporting. I think I know who all the SKR supporters are. Where's everybody else? He's out front, he's the new leader of the race. SKR, how they would love the checkered flag to fall this very moment. A victory for the team currently in P4, that would be fantastic. But of course, if the checkered flag were to fall this very moment, well, Weeze would be disqualified because he hasn't pit. Venom, top of the JPR drivers, going through in P4. And Big T, the JPR driver, showing in P6 and Spikes. So he was up the front of the field for much of the race, but now he's done that first pit stop. Judge showing support for JPR, of course. The drivers I race with on a Friday night. Good to have you here. And what is on display on Tuesday night is pretty special. 5 of the best of each league coming together into one lobby. Not going to get a closer qualifying than what you saw tonight. 4 drivers all within a 10. You want to get really technical, all within 800ths of a second. Now, overtake on the outside. Will he be able to pull it off? Yes, he does. Remember, it's one thing to lunge, it's one thing to brake later, it's quite another to get the car stopped. Once you get your nose in front, you've only done half the job. And you need to slow things down. Make sure your opponent does not get the better of you. Again there, just looked like something flying off the car, but really not. There's no contact there with the SKR car, but it seems like something flew off the car there. We're all getting some weird debris showing on the game. Don't necessarily know if that debris is there. That every single driver there in the top 6 with penalties next to their name, these penalties are going to come back to bite if we get a late safety car. You could have drivers in the midfield potentially taking podiums. Let's bring up those penalties, see if they're anything too serious. Some of them are definitely serious. Look at that, your leader Skylar, 3 seconds, not too bad for him. But then Lamb Royale, he's got a 10-second penalty. Big T sitting on 13, Venom on 3, got Spikes on 3, Shane on 13. Lots of drivers getting speeding in the pit lane this evening. Nikishin also on 3, as is Smurf and Andres. Feels like I'm going through the leaderboard. I'm not, that's just the penalties. Skylar out front, then it's his teammate Lamb Royale, but remember all of these cars have penalties. Big T, P3, also penalty. Venom P4, also penalty. Wheeze, quickest of the drivers with no penalties next to his name so far. That's an SKR driver. Currently in P5, and just behind him Spikes, also with a penalty next to his name. Ricky next one in line with no penalties. So those drivers will know if they have any warnings. They'll know how close they are to a potential penalty. We don't have that information on hand. Could be a race where the entire field gets penalties. We've seen that before. Fantastic so far for SKR. They're currently 3 and 4. They have made their pit stops. Big T ahead of them has made a pit stop. I think he must have had damage earlier on in the race because his tyres a little out of sync with everybody else. Just the one retirement so far, that was Convoy. He was very, very quick in qualifying, very quick at the start of the race, and definitely a contender for the victory. Of course, no individual championship, so that wouldn't have been a Convoy victory. It would have been an LSA victory, and an LSA victory is still very much on the cards. Lamb Royale's out front. It's a comfortable gap, but he's got so many penalties. I believe it's 13. So that's the 3 seconds for track infringements, and then another 10 for speeding in the pit lane. Of course, if I'm repeating myself, I apologize, but I stream a lot. What you don't want to do is the Pasta Maldonado. If you don't know what the Pasta Maldonado is, Pasta Maldonado once got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And then when serving that drive-through penalty, got another penalty for speeding in the pit lane while serving a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is, of course, the Mazepin of those days. Great Pasta Maldonado of Venezuela. Having said that, he was a race winner. Did win one race. I believe that was Barcelona. It was Barcelona, and I also believe that was Williams' last victory. Pasta Maldonado. It was quite surprising. He was completely rubbish, and then on that weekend took pole and went on to win the race. It made absolutely no sense. Beat Alonso to the line. Quite a classic race in a season that had 6 winners in the first 6 rounds. Lamb Royale P1. Breeze in P2. And Big T P3, Spikes P4, Fricky still P5, Shane in P6. He had the pace in quali. This is quite a different story. Does have penalties next to his name, as does his teammate Nick Gishin just behind, coming under pressure from Skylar. I think there's going to be a swap in positions between LSA and JPR, and that swap happened before I could finish my sentence, long before we got to the corner. Skylar gets ahead of Nick Gishin. Then Acid Milk a little further down the road in P9. Not that much further down the road. He's already putting pressure on the JPR car as well, all over the back of that diffuser. Pushing the JPR car, doing everything he can. He's now going to open up DRS, and this should be easy. Goes side by side, and again gets ahead well before the corner. Then outside of the points, you've got Mr. Rem in P11, Top Gun P12, those drivers having slightly lonely races. Then Venom 13 coming under a little pressure from Andres Tresso in P15. It's got Triple M for company in P16, and then Skull pretty lonely out there in P17. 8 seconds to the car ahead, 5 seconds to the car behind, and then Smurf also in a very lonely last place, 5 seconds behind Skull. Of course, still so much can happen in this race. We haven't seen many incidents in this race. We've seen a lot of penalties in this race. Convoy had an early retirement. That did not trigger any sort of stoppage in the race. The SKR car of Wheeze in a very strong position when you consider these penalties of the drivers around him. Wheeze no penalties, driver ahead of him 10 seconds worth of penalties. Lam Royale Andres, as we speak of penalties, adds to the column another 3 seconds for Andres. And this is going to be messy by the end of it. I don't think I'm even going to be able to read the order until we get the official results. Let the game work out all the mathematical mess. Lam Royale is not going to help his cause. He already had 10 seconds. Now he gets track infringement, so 3 seconds added to that. 13 seconds worth of penalties. His gap is 5.3 seconds. So that puts Wheeze well in front at this stage. Still a long way to go though. I think any of these cars are going to be put in the game. Big T, I believe he will put the game. He's already done 17 laps on those hards. Might be a bit of a stretch to get them to the end. Spike's in P4. He'll be driving with the hope of a podium again, but he'll know that's an LSA car behind him. Right, red car just behind that. That is Shane. Still looking for a good result out of this race. So if Spice is going to hold on to the P4 or even get a potential podium, he's got a lot of work to do. Welcome to Panda in the comment section. Good to have you. For some reason my phone is at its busiest whenever I'm streaming. So let's just mute that and get on with this. Lam Royale leads the way from Wheeze, then Big T, Fricky P4, a few Judge, the other Fricky. Then we've got Spikes P5, Shane P6, Skylar P7, Nick Gishon P8, Virus P9, and Top Gun making up the points. Panda pointing out the penalties, and as he points out the penalties, Andres adds to the column. So another 3 seconds for Andres before he gets 3 seconds. Was it a lap? Was it 2 laps ago? So penalties really piling on for the drivers. For Panda, if you haven't seen those penalties, there they are for you. 13 seconds to Lam Royale, 13 to Big T. 3 for Spike, 16 for Shane, then 3 for Skylar, 3 for Nick Gishon, 3 for Acid Milk, 3 for Venom, 9 for Andres. And then the last driver in the field, also with 3 seconds of his own, that is Smurf. Said in qualifying, this could be a race circuit where we see a lot of penalties. Didn't see too many invalidated laps in qualifying. There is the evidence. Lots of penalties. It's a tricky race circuit. Lots of twists, lots of ups and downs. So easy to go over track limits. You're allowed to do it 3 times, and then you get penalized. Lam Royale leads the way, then Wheeze in the SKR car in a very strong position. Most important thing for him now, stay out of that penalties column. That can ensure a brilliant race result for him. He is actually making up a little bit of ground on Royale. That gap is 4.5 seconds. Then Big T in P3. Don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to that P3 because of the penalties next to his name. But Spikes in P4, cars trading places. Ricky P5, and Shane at the rear of that field. He's in P6. Gonna open up DRS, hoping to get a little closer to that handful of cars ahead of him. He has a lot of penalties himself. All of these drivers will be praying that we don't get a late safety car. Any sort of late safety car at this point would be disastrous. As I say safety car, we get a yellow flag, and I thought for a second, what have I done? It disappears. Killer blaming the penalties on the mystery track. That could very well be the case. Of course, all the drivers will be familiar with all the different layouts on this calendar. But whenever you're approaching a race, it always helps to do a few laps, do a little bit of preparation. Make sure your setup still feels as good as the last time you were on this circuit, or if you need to adjust something. When it's a mystery race, you sort of have to jump in, trust the setup that's been saved, and just go for it. So it's Royale from Wheeze, 4.4 seconds, 4.3 seconds, so that gap is coming down slightly, and Wheeze has no penalties, so this will be crucial. Big T, P3, lots of penalties. Spikes P4, but penalties of his own. Ricky also in a good position, no penalties next to his name in P5. Then Shane, Skylar, Nick Geshen, Top Gun, Virus, will be a top 10. Mr. M, Venom, Acid Mill, and Tresso. Car that going into this race was a potential race winner as well. Just didn't have a lot of luck at the start of things. Triple M. Ghosting again, no he's not. Thought he was ghosting with just a bad camera angle. Of course that driver had to leave the lobby, then come back in and take control of that car. So that P15 could also be as a result of the time he spent out of the lobby. The AI is not always the best driver. Andres, Smurf, and Skull. That is your field. At the front, 4.1 seconds, so the gap continues to fall. LvL would be hoping that the gap would be going in the other direction. Obviously he wants to get that gap to over 10 seconds so that he can hold on to his lead when they go over the line. Unfortunately for him, it's just going in the wrong direction. It's now in the 3 seconds, 3.8. Gap continues to come down. Maybe Reese doesn't want to win this with penalties. Maybe he's trying to win this on circuit. More side-by-side action. This is Fricky versus Spikes, fighting for the final podium step. Of course, everything I'm commentating on, take it for pure entertainment value. I could be talking about the battle for P3, but one of those cars has penalties and is clearly not going to finish in P3. So let's just imagine nobody had penalties and act surprised at the end. That's 31 of 36. I'm getting less and less. Drivers will be hoping, please, no stoppage at the end. It would be disastrous. Look at this field. Look at these penalties. If the field were to be forced back together, we would have a very interesting result. The drivers at the rear of the field will be hoping for, but they're running out of time. Lap 32 of 36. We have seen a safety car with 3 laps to go, so it can definitely happen. Once we get to lap 34, we should be safe. ridiculous racetrack. It's so narrow in that part of the race circuit. Most modern circuits between 12 to 15 meters wide. Here in Brazil, at its most narrow, it's just 8 meters wide. That's the same width as Monte Carlo. Army, it's 12 meters wide for the most part, and then 15 meters wide down the main straight. And Royale still in the lead, the gap still continuing to fall. Not quite quick enough for Wees to catch up to that car ahead of him, but it's good enough to make full use of that penalty for the driver up the road. Wees is looking at a potential victory. I wonder if he even knows it. Rookie in P3. Still being followed very closely by Spikes. Spikes has a penalty next to his name, but he has not given up on P3 on track at least. Top Gun, 3-second penalty. These things just keep on adding up. 3-second penalty for Shane, 3-second penalty for Andres. I can't keep up with these. These are like lap times when they're coming in and qualifying and everybody's out on track at the same time and you can't keep up with the lap times. I can't keep up with the penalties. Interestingly enough, the man in last place, no penalties next to his name. Fortunately, he's a little too far behind to get any advantage out of that. Just to bring the tyre screen back up. Stroll did make a late pit stop onto the softs. That's obviously in hope of a stoppage in the race. Stoppage that never came. I said by the time we got to lap 44 we'd be safe. We are now on lap 44. Don't expect any stoppages in the race. Wees in P2. Then it's Spikes. I'm actually looking at, there we go, I'm looking at Spikes, that's Wees. Wees in P2, long to go. We'll be looking at race victory with the League Championship, of course. There is one disadvantage to finishing on the podium in this championship. The 3 drivers that finish on the podium unfortunately get eliminated from the next race. So those top 3 drivers, if it remains in that order, Royale, Wees and Spikes, going to be Royale, Wees and Tricky after the penalties have something to say about. Those drivers will not be back next week. But the fact that will be chosen by SKR. There's 3 mystery tracks in 3 weeks. Others don't know where they're racing next week. I don't know where they're racing next week, but will be announced on the day. SKR will let me know. A few minutes to go. A few minutes later, I'll let you know. Shane, another 3-second penalty. Remember, there is a limit to these penalties. We never quite get that high, so people forget about the limit. But if you start approaching the 30 seconds mark, you will get disqualified. Shane on 12 seconds. I think he was on more than that, but I think some of that was 10 seconds and he would have served that in a pit stop. Great drive today from Wees, bringing home some very valuable points for the green team. Currently in P4 in this championship, needed a good result. Wees has produced that result. We've just got this lap to go. Just needs to hold things together for a little longer. Side screen shows Royale 20 lap old hards. Wees just got a 2-lap advantage. And now Spikes adds to his penalties column, and that could cost him and will cost him a podium. That's what the penalties do. They hurt. You look for an extra tenth of a second, you take a little bit extra curb than you should. And in looking for that tenth, you cost yourself 3 seconds. Now LvL heads up the hill for the final time. He's going to be the first man to go over the line, but he's not going to be the man to win the race. Lots of penalties next to his name. That's the 10 seconds added on to his race for not serving that 10 seconds or doing an extra pit stop. Then Fricky in P2, the next driver with no penalties. Lamb still finished on the podium despite all of those penalties. Skylar in P4, much further down the order at one point in the race, was in P11. Then Spikes, this race has also come to an end. He went over the line in P5. We're waiting for Big T, another SKR driver, comes over the line in P6. Don't read too much into this. Remember, you might still see a lot of cars flopping around because of the penalties. It's a smattering of cars there coming over the line. We've got to wait for the final results. Let the game work all of this out. Who are we still waiting for? We're waiting for Shane. He decides, I don't like this car. I'm just going to take a bit of carbon fiber off. And if you were worried about the rain, well, don't have to worry anymore. Top Gun gets your driver of the day. And let's wait for those official results. Let's just mute before we get a copyright. And there we go, your official results. Wheeze takes the victory. Fantastic result for SKR on the night. Then we've got Fricky and LvL 2 and 3, Skylar in P4, all of those LSA cars 2, 3 and 4. Then we got Spikes P5, Big T P6, Triple M P7. Great result for him considering he was out of the lobby at a stage. Tresso P8, Top Gun P9, and Mr. M making up the top 10. Outside the top 10 today we've got Venom P11, Virus P12, Nick Geshen 13, Smurf 14, Andres 15, then Acid Milk 16, Shane 17, and Skull at the rear of the field with just one DNF in the DNF column, and that goes to Convoy. I will now allow a minute or two to see if anybody decides to join the cool down room. Of course, you can find the cool down room on the NFR Discord server. I will then bring you in to the comms box one by one. Of course, driver of the day and the top 3 are invited, but sometimes drivers just a little too tired. Sometimes drivers a little too mic shy. Why can I hear myself? But we will be back in 2 or 3 minutes from now.
SAFRL bringing fire hot. SK already taking the shot. JPR rolling like a storm. LSA precise like a norm. 5 drivers, each heart's ablaze. Victory dreams in relentless haze. Head to head on Tuesday night. Racing fast under the light. Fury builds, engines scream loud. Fully fight, make us proud. Engines roar, pulses race. Adrenaline rushes in this place. Four leagues crashing in the dark, chasing dreams, leaving marks.
NFR, it's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat.
Welcome back, everybody. I just had a look at the Discord. Nobody has decided to join this evening. So, of course, I'm just going to end the stream off here. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined the stream, everybody who watched, and everybody who supported the channel. Thank you very much. Of course, channel takes a bit of a break now. We'll be back on Sunday night with SKR at 6 p.m. Then we move on to SAFRL on Monday night, 8 p.m. And then we get to do this all over again on Tuesday. Of course, it's going to be a mystery track again next week. This time around, SKR, winners of tonight's race, they're going to be doing the picking, and they're going to be hoping to pull off a double. So thank you to everybody who joined, and I will see you again on Sunday. Till then, cheers.
NFR, yeah, drama high, stars afar, round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's spin. NFR, let's begin. Tuesday night, feel the light. 4 leagues, get ready, it's a sight. SAFRL, speed so bright. SKR, going full flight. JPR, rev it up, don't stop. LSA, engines make 'em pop. 5 drivers, each team roaring. Racing hearts, no ignoring. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar, the streets rock. 4 leagues fighting, head to head. Burning rubber, painting red. Crowds cheer, lights flashing. Through the night, all passion. One by one, on the track. No turning back, no slack. High speed, adrenaline rush. Turbocharged, feel the crush. League pride, holding tight. Win or lose, in the night. Race night fever, 8 o'clock. Engines roar,